Psalm 1:6. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. He knows the way of the righteous. Psalms 15:1-5. Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly, and walketh and worketh righteousness, and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoureth them that fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. Never be moved, you understand? Psalm 2:4-5. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yes, it will. Secrets don't exist to God. Every conspiracy is laid bare throughout time before him. No man, no God has ever been at any time a credible threat to God. No one has ever gotten away with anything. Competition doesn't exist to God. All creation, all history is a road up to the day of the Lord. The first announcement about his son took place at the fall of Adam and Eve in Genesis 3:15. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, you shall bruise his heel. So you see that? Which one is more important? Head or heel? You see, you're going to bruise him slightly, but he's going to abuse you majorly. And this is all between, I dig this. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. We are her offspring. We are the brethren and sisters of Jesus. And we bruise their head, but they only bruise our heel. Psalm 3:5. He is defense, not just a kind of defense. But thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory, and the lifter up of mine head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill, Selah. I laid me down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. God is a shield. He is defense, not just a kind of defense. This is not to say that evil will not come upon us, will not happen to us. But he is in those moments with us. To have the Father is to have armor. It is to be armed. In this dark world, we are the enemy. because we sleep and we arise in God in the midst of spiritual warfare. Psalm 3:5. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongeth unto the Lord. Thy blessing upon thy people, Salah. His blessing is upon us. His treaty of peace, His forgiveness, His restoration. 2 Corinthians 9:8. And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Psalms 4:1. Hear me when I call. Hear me when I call. O God of my righteousness, thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. Hear my prayer. To be enlarged by God, to be given a broad and roomy pasture. God makes things suitable. He expands our resources. He expands us. Just best believe. Psalms 4:7-8. Thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than in the time that there was corn and wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace, I will sleep. For thou, Lord, only makes me dwell in safety. Safety, my God. Psalm 5:4-6. For thou art not a God that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall any evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. The Lord will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasures in them that do them. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, because thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee. For thou, Lord, wilt bless the righteous with favor. Wilt thou compass him as a shield? To be compassed with the favor as a shield, the force field of God, to be surrounded with God's grace, this is not so much a nod to guaranteed material gain or absence of difficulties, but even in poverty, in hard times, His favor surrounds us. Psalm 7:8-13. The Lord shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, and according to mine integrity that is in me. O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous God trieth the hearts of and reigns, and my defense is of God, which saveth the upright in heart. God judges the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. So yeah, pretty much they got some coming. They all got some coming. God examines our minds. He examines our motivations. What do we prioritize in this life? What manner of moral constitution do we have? God knows us fully. He knows our end and our beginning. But do we consider ourselves? Do we consider where we stand with Him? He leaves many to self-destruct by their own hands in their rebellion, and He gives a repenting soul a new heart, a new way of life. Psalm 8:3-6. When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars, which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him? The Son of Man that thou visitest him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou hast made him to have dominion over the works of his hands, of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet. So yes, this world is our responsibility. But there is no global warming. That is uh, God is mindful of us. He considers me. God crowns me with glory and honor. He has thoughts towards me. God made us. He gave us responsibility over His creation. We are a little lower than the angels. Psalms 103:17-22. But the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear Him, and His righteousness is unto children's children, to such as keep His covenant, and to those that remember His commandments to do them. The Lord hath prepared His throne in heaven, and His kingdom ruleth forever over all. Bless the Lord, ye His angels that excel in strength, that do His commandments, hearkening unto the voice of His word. Bless ye the Lord, all His host, ye ministers of His, that do His pleasure. Bless the Lord, all His works are in all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. So yeah, angels are in the mix, man. We can't forget the angels. Don't forget the angels. And there's a verse that says, "Be careful how you treat folk, 'cause you might be talking to an angel." Psalms 9:4-5. For thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou satest in the throne, judging right. Thou hast rebuked the heathen. Thou hast destroyed the wicked. Thou hast put out their name forever and ever. The wicked gonna be dealt with. They gonna get dealt with. Best believe. God maintains my right and my cause. He defends my right by the blood of his Son. Romans 5:8-11. But God commended his love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Much more than, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from his wrath through him. For if, when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his Son, much more, being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. And not only so, but we also joy in God through the Lord Jesus Christ, by whom we have now received the atonement. So if you're in Jesus, you're square. You're square with God. But it was on his terms, not yours. Revelations 28:15. And when 1,000 years were expired, Satan shall be loose out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea. And they went up. So they're literally going to try and war with Jesus. Retarded. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and beloved city. And a fire came down from God out of heaven, and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. So you're gonna get his, where the beast and the false prophet were, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Psalm 9:7-12. But the Lord shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment. He shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in time of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee. For thou, Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee. Sing praises to the Lord, which dwelleth in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. When he maketh the inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgiveth not the cry of the humble. He maketh the inquisition for blood. So when I read this, I thought about this passage right here between Cain and Abel. Genesis 4:1-16. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have begotten a man child from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was keeper of sheep, but Cain was tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground on offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock, of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not disrespect. He had not respect. So, you know, Cain feeling like, well, I'm the tiller of the ground. You feel me? But alright. I don't know. I'm not playing devil's advocate, but hmm. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? So, okay, okay. Right there, I'm seeing it's not what Cain brought to the table, it's the nature in which he brought it. He had no heart in it. He was just going through the motions, you understand? Cain was just going through the motions. It wasn't from the heart. That's why I wouldn't accept it. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. You see what I'm saying? So let's start that over. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. The Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. You see what I'm saying? So God knows every man's heart and what he's really up to, right? What he thinks he's up to or whatever. So Cain's heart was not right with God. It's like it wasn't a genuine, like he probably even had a gripe that he had to give up the tithe, you know what I mean? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. This was the first murder ever. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? So, check this out. We're about to see that blood speaks. The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Blood calls. Blood speaks. Every time blood is shed, it speaks, it calls out. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy ground. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. From the face shall I be hid. I shall be a fugitive a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And so check us out. God doubles down, says, And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whosoever slay thee, vengeance shall be upon him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any findeth him, and kill him. Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. So thanks for your time. Subscribe for notifications for next meditation. It's just very loose organization. You know what I mean? We just talk about what's in Psalms, God in the Psalms. So we must never forget these things. This is Yahcitytech. My name is Winstoniledwards. Feel free to donate to this ministry of mine. It's a very just loose, very comfortable, Bible study. I'm based in Manteca, California. If you want to meet up and start something, we can do it. All right.